Good day. This is Sylvie with another health tip. I was speaking with a friend of mine and she was struggling with some perimenopause issues, some weight issues, and some energy issues. So I'm going to give a brief overview of these subjects as they also pertain to perimenopause because they are kind of in that umbrella, and menopause as well. And generally speaking, this video would be good for anyone looking for more energy, a cleaner liver, and potential weight loss tips. So even if you are male and you are not undergoing perimenopause or menopause symptoms, you would still benefit from the information in this video. So without further ado, I will continue. My plan is also to review each of these sections more in depth. And I did add a lot of links to a lot of my other videos and a few extra videos. And the videos that I have put in, I give further links because this is a very big issue and it's kind of like a multiple themes, let's just say. So between perimenopause, menopause, energy, and weight loss, that covers a lot. So in one video, I'm just going to kind of skim the surface, and I make reference to other of my videos where I've covered more information, more in depth about some specific issues like diet. So hopefully that will give you a good place to start. So generally speaking, if one is very healthy, one would not have very many perimenopause or menopause symptoms. And if they did have some, they would be very mild. So if things are not working properly for you, it's almost like it triggers or lets you know where your system is not as strong. So if you don't have strong adrenals, if you've been stressed, if you're tired, if you drink caffeine, all of those things contribute to overtaxing the adrenals, and they actually help ease the menopause. If you were in great health, then it would actually help with the estrogen production because it looks like the adrenals may be able to support many different hormones that your body needs. So if they're already having trouble, then the extra load that's being put on them, you're gonna feel like your energy go like, and I had that. I was like kind of like depressed without being sad. It was the weirdest sensation. My partner noticed like there was like nothing there, and I was like, but my life is like great. Everything is functioning, and I'm just feeling so not present and numb. And when I started to supplement with the herbal mixture that I mentioned here, I noticed a big difference. And also when I started to reduce the caffeine, not that I had much, but I'm a regular green tea drinker. I like my green tea. I'd have like maybe one a day, maybe two a day. And that actually has a lot of caffeine in it. So if you're undergoing certain symptoms and having adrenal troubles, that's probably too much caffeine. So now I can handle a little bit more. And I noticed that once I did some dietary shifts and cleanses, then I didn't need the herbal supplements as much. So kind of go back and forth. And I might want to go back to some of them for a little bit extra boost. But in the meantime, things are actually going very, very well. So adrenal support. Definitely you can get sort of an adrenal support combination, a sort of a vitamin and herbal blends. You can usually get a blend like that at the health food store. Ask them which one they think is best. Read the ingredients because not all supplements are created equal, and some of them put natural flavors in them, fillers. I've even read in one brand talcum powder, which is actually poison, which was in some supplements. Now those were the pharma ones. But just be careful and make sure you do your research. But I found that definitely using an adrenal gland support combination was very, very useful. Ashwagandha on its own can be very good for that as well, because it's an adaptogen and it helps your body deal with changes and it helps you adapt. So that's a really great herb for this time, or for anyone going through any kind of changes emotionally, physically, metabolically, starting new habits, starting to do more sports than they were doing, or that sort of thing. It's just a wonderful herb for that sort of thing. It is a nightshade, and I know one person who's sensitive to it, so do be mindful and just do a little test first. You can also do some dowsing to test, or get it tested. Some people do electromagnetic dermal testing or muscle testing, so you can go to a practitioner who does that as well, just to make sure that it's a good fit for you. Generally speaking, most people don't have an issue with it, but just to put it out there that herbs are not 100% benign, and some people do have issues with some herbs, so that you are informed. And I do know there is a caffeine-free green tea, which I've gotten, but it's kind of mainstream-ish brand, and I'm not sure how they do it. I'm not sure if they use chemicals, but that was a kind of nice in-between thing when it was too much caffeine. I also do my own preparation. I find a really, really good green tea substitute is I blend a blend of nettle and raspberry leaf, and I make a tea out of that, and it's got that really satisfying sort of tannin bite to it with that green flavor without any caffeine. And both of those herbs are so good for you that they would actually be really good for healing your immune system. They're good for allergies. They're actually they're almost superfood type herbs, so they're very nutritious. They're very rich in minerals and phytonutrients that help calm the system, help nourish the system. Just an amazing herbs. I know someone who used nettle to reduce or eliminate some allergy symptoms. So very, very potent herbs, and very yummy when mixed together. If you want a little more bite, sometimes I add a little fresh ginger to that. Very yummy, especially in the cold weather. Diet changes, of course. So I do have a video that I talk about diets. I'm not going to go into huge information here, but definitely I just want to mention seed oils, vegetable oils are terrible, and nobody should be ingesting them. Canola, vegetable oil, cottonseed oil, rapeseed oil, or grapeseed oil, sunflower oil, sesame oil, all of those are the seed-based oils or nut-based oils are not helpful. It looks like many of the different diets that almost seem contradictory, which create positive, beneficial results, what they have in common, a lot of them, is no grains and no seed oils. Interesting. So I thought that was a really cool common denominator. So I just really want to mention that because it's something that I feel everybody should really know about. That includes like Crisco, margarine, anything like that is very damaging to the whole system. We're better off with ghee, which is an Indian way of sort of clarifying the butter, but it's like next level. Ideally, you're removing all the proteins and the sugar from the butter, so it becomes this beautiful fat that you can cook with without burning. Also, people who have issues with dairy often can handle ghee because the proteins and the carbohydrates have been removed. So if you're lactose intolerant, there's no more lactose in there, or if there are, that would be like very, 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 very tiny levels. Butter is also an amazing healing fat. Ideally, you want to actually increase your cholesterol if you are having hormonal issues for men and women, because cholesterol is the precursor for many of our hormones. As well, we have a lot of cholesterol in our brains, so things like brain fog, functioning, stamina in that area could be increased by increasing cholesterol. There's a lot of misinformation about cholesterol, and a lot of the times the problem with it is people are eating highly inflammatory foods like, say, grains and seed oils, which causes damage in the system, and the cholesterol is actually the Band-Aid that covers it up. And so there's only so many layers of Band-Aids you can add if you keep causing damage, that eventually the healing process actually becomes a problem and it causes problems. So that is a very controversial thing, and a lot of the new research that even has been done by cardiologists has been kind of like swept under the carpet, so people don't know. Makes really good sales for certain pharma drugs that I'm not going to mention. Okay, I mentioned that. So generally increasing the healthy fats, and the definition of healthy fats has changed throughout the years. My definition of a healthy fat is butter, ghee, tallow, beef fat. Some people can handle bacon fat. Pork is a little tricky sometimes. Some people do really well with bacon fat, some people don't. So it's kind of like an experiment. I'm staying away from that. I usually use tallow. I have a special butter that I use, and I use ghee. So those are my favorite fats, and that's what I use to supplement my fats and what I use to cook with. You can also use coconut oil, is really good. Avocado oil is fine. You just got to make sure you're getting pure stuff, because they've been cutting avocado oil just like they cut olive oil, which is also fine. You just really need to make sure it's pure. Okay, so that's another kind of extra research there. Let's see now. In terms of diet, I've done many different diets, and for me, what works the best is a fairly high animal protein and high animal fat diet with some in-season, properly processed vegetables. Generally, I don't eat any grains. Once in a blue moon, I might have a little bit, but generally I avoid that. And wheat, if it's not organic, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's full of glyphosate, which is horrible. It's actually an antibiotic as well. So it gut health havoc. Don't even go there. Okay, so caffeine, I want to go back to it because some people, you can use, there's coffee substitutes. They're not created equal. I have recipes myself that I like to use. So if you want to contact me, you can get some further recipes. I'm also going to make more videos out of this video because I'll go into each section a little bit more deeply, and I may be able to add some recipes in here. So often what my partner does is he does half decaf and half caf for coffee to reduce his coffee, and ideally whole decaf is great, and then reducing the amount that he drinks. We also put chaga in our coffee, ground chaga, which helps increase the health as opposed to what the coffee does. And coffee is very dehydrating, and most of us are very dehydrated because we don't have enough salt. So part of our way to keep our cells hydrated, it's not just drinking like tons of regular water, because most of the time that just goes right through you and it actually doesn't hydrate your system. So you need to put like a pinch of healthy salt. There's good salt, bad salt, or beneficial salt, non-beneficial salt. I don't like good and bad so much. So the most beneficial salts would be the Celtic sea salt, Brittany sea salt, non-processed gray sea salt, and Red Bin's real salts. Those are the ones I trust the most, and those are the ones that I like to use. So a variety of those is great. Himalayan, unless you know it's 100% real, is again tricky. And there's some really cool salts like black salts and high-end salts, but those are really expensive. So, if you want to go down the salt rabbit hole, have fun. It's very interesting. Okay, so I would put a pinch of salt in my water, maybe a little bit of lemon juice, and other electrolytes like, say, magnesium or potassium. Now, they do make electrolyte blends, but I found most of them have junk in them. Like they have natural flavors, whatever that is, colored, a whole bunch of different weird fillers and stuff. And it's hard to tell like how much of which of the electrolytes are actually in there. Now, I know a lot of the carnivore people sell some pretty high-end or connected to some high-end electrolytes. And I think there might be one brand that has one of their electrolytes is just like has nothing added to it. So that might be okay. If you find a good source that's affordable, you can always add it to the comments. I just make my own blends. I just buy like potassium and magnesium, and I add a few other things to my water. Maybe that's another video. So this kind of opened a lovely can of worms with lots of great video ideas. That's usually what happens when people ask me for tips about specific issues that they're having trouble with. Trying to make it not too long. Okay, diet. I think I pretty much covered it. Only I think low carb is generally best. Some people are going keto, some people are going carno, just eating animal-based products. Find your balance. I was speaking to one person and keto was a little bit too much for them, so everybody's a little bit different. So maybe just lower carb, or maybe no grains. Just kind of massage that into place, and that helps with weight loss as well as balancing your gut and your system. Probiotics is also a really good way to go. Now, got to do your research on probiotics. They're not all created equal. I myself use specific strains and make my own super probiotic yogurt mixtures. So I'll probably do a video about that as well. And yeah, so generally I like to aim for keto. So that means really almost no carbohydrates or very low. I eat a few, like right now I'm having an orange in the morning and some berries in my yogurt, and I use non-dairy yogurt just because dairies and I don't mix very well lately, or off and on. So that's a continuing experiment. And there's a dairy rabbit hole too, so that's also very interesting. Okay. So I think that's most of the diet stuff. Now the liver is huge in perimenopause, especially with like sweats and hot flashes and that sort of thing. So even men actually, when they hit sort of 40s and 50s, can actually get the sweats, interestingly enough. So it's not just women who have that issue. So what I recommend is really making sure you're cleansing and feeding your liver. So you can do eat very simply. Do not mix like a whole bunch of different foods together. If you're eating some carbohydrates, maybe avoid fats and proteins and just have some non-starchy vegetables with it. And then if you're eating proteins and fats, don't have the starches with that, and just have some, again, salads and non-starchy vegetables with that. That would be a good way to keep the food combining a little bit healthier. And another good way to clean the liver is to do a cleanse, maybe not a full-on fast. So if you are doing carbohydrates, an all-day apple fast or an all-day orange fast or an all-day grapefruit mono eating cleanse would be great. The idea is you eat just the one thing as much as you want all day, ideally organic, and that can really help your liver and your whole system recalibrate. Now, thinking of it in French, pamplemousse, grapefruit is exceptionally good for your liver, so that's a really nice one. But I find sometimes if people haven't done a cleanse, I like to do the apple first because it has a lot of like pectin, and it kind of really cleanses your intestines. So if there's a lot of clogging and stuff going on in there, that really helps move things along. And then I would do the grapefruit cleanse after. So if like I do 2 days instead of one, you might just want to start with apples on your first time because it can be a bit challenging. The idea is, even if you think that you might be slightly deprived, just eat another apple or eat another orange or eat another, just eat as much as you want. It's not going to cause any problems when you're just doing a mono fast. It's very easy to assimilate. Now that might be too much sugar for some people. So an alternate would be to do a celery mono cleanse or a cucumber mono cleanse. And those are relatively benign vegetables, and celery has so many benefits. It's actually considered an herb. So that's also very healing for cardiovascular, amongst many other things. So that's a good idea for that. Now, if you're not used to eating a lot of fats, your system might have a little trouble digesting fats. So one thing you can do is actually supplement with ox bile to help a little bit with your meals, and just start increasing slowly. So you don't want to eat like crazy, like half a pound of butter on your first day of changing your diet is going to be really hard to digest. So, take it easy, be gentle with yourself. Okay. Another amazing tool, which is good for everyone, is ideally fresh organic lemon juice every morning, either half or a whole lemon, juiced and mixed with water and a little pinch of salt. Amazing. That will really cleanse your system, really support your liver, really keep things good. And it also helps with bile and digesting fats as well. So bonus. And if you can't do the fresh, you can get like organic lemon juice. I would have it in glass because it's acidic. So I don't think you should buy like lemon juice in plastic container. I don't like, because not good. So there's these, like, usually they're kind of green bottles and you can get them quite large. And there's like the juice of like crazy amount of lemons, like 20 lemons. So it's a little pricey, but if you do the math, if you bought that many lemons, it might cost actually a little more or comparable. So that lasts forever. Some people are concerned with enamel on their teeth with lemon. Now the fresh lemon is probably less harmful, or maybe not at all. There's the jury's out on that. It looks like that may have been debunked, but some people are still concerned, and or maybe the little enamel they have left is actually being affected by that. So you can actually add a little bit of baking soda to your lemon juice to make it more neutral, so that you're counteracting the acids to help your teeth. Some people use a straw as well, so it doesn't touch their teeth to have their lemon juice. So those are some options there. Got the lemons. Emotional symptoms. So I've done a video on how to use emotion code, which is a process to help clear emotions. I didn't mention this in my notes, but you can also do EFT tapping. So you can check that up. EFT tapping can help clear emotions and trauma. And I use nonviolent communication as a counseling tool, as a contemplation tool to help aspects of myself integrate and be clear on my feelings and needs, because a lot of depression is needs not being met and someone having conflicting needs. So if one can find harmony with their conflicting needs, a lot of suffering can be alleviated. Also, a lot of stress can come from communicating or trying to communicate or dealing with family members, bosses, co-workers, etc. And nonviolent communication has many tools and is a beautiful way of looking at the world, a kind of almost a spiritual heart-to-heart give and take connection that can help people really heal. So the process in nonviolent communication is the toolbox, and the intention is more holistic. So the idea is to give and receive from the heart. And I have some videos on that. And for weight loss, generally, all the diet tips and everything that I've mentioned are all good for weight loss, like the lemon juice and the cleanses and the combinations. So that's good. And then there's this one really cool thing. Is people have been noticing that as they nurture and support the function of their mitochondria, people are able to lose weight better, and it has some anti-aging effects. So some amazing foods that support this are amla, maqui berries, rhodiola, schizandra berries, and I don't know if I can say this properly, Haematococcus algae, Theobroma cacao. And I've written these all down, so they're kind of hard to figure out. So you can research them and find them, because I've actually spelt them correctly. I had to look them up. Energy. Mini addendum. I wanted to mention that a really great way to help with giving strength and energy would be to use the herb ginseng. Now for women, You want to use Siberian ginseng. You can use Panax ginseng or Canadian or American ginseng. Siberian for women is the best. If you are male, you may also use Korean ginseng. Now, a lot of the Korean ginseng, like you can get little packets of teas and there's like kind of maybe some sugar in there or whatnot. I mean, that's not horrible. You might want to read the ingredients, or you can just get like the capsule format or the pure format. In actually some stores, you could even buy the actual like root in some Asian stores, and that would be great as well. You can actually just eat it, put it in soups or whatnot, and it's such a great, a powerful, energizing. It's what you call like a tonic herb. You can have it like every day, and it usually doesn't cause any problems. No, women should not have much Korean ginseng because this is a hormonal thing, and it's better for men. I just wanted to make sure to add that. And then in terms of energy, a lot of like detoxifying the liver gives you energy. The lemon juice will help you feel more energized. Doing some mild exercise like qigong, tai chi, and meditation, which I don't think I mentioned either, especially for the emotional issues. It helps more than just the emotional. It helps to calm your nervous system. So that also helps with reducing stress, which is very, very important. And I would avoid high impact exercises for a little bit. I mean, if you're used to it and you like it and it feels good, go for it. But some people, if they're struggling or their system feels a little weak, that high impact, it's especially if you have inflammation, it's harder to recover from. So there's like non-impact aerobics you can do. It's actually called NIA, which is great. And there's a whole bunch of things out there like the qigong and the tai chi. Walking uphill, walking upstairs would help with that, as well with energy. Breathing and breathing exercises help with energy as well. And then there's the links. So I think that's a lot. And then there's a lot of links to kind of deepen each thing that I mentioned. So hopefully this will give people a great start. And I look forward to diving deeper in a lot of these subjects. So have fun, and hopefully some of these tips can help increase your sense of well-being. Till we meet again.